Winter. Cold, harsh, windy, frigid, yet also oftentimes stunningly beautiful. Well, at least it's supposed to be that, considering that it's 40 degrees today in the Chicagoland area. So despite the fact that it's really, really warm out today, it is still winter because it is February. So I thought it'd be great to take a look at some winter bird feeding tips and tricks, and we can also look at some adaptations that birds take in order to survive harsh winters. So just like us, birds will cuddle and shiver in order to keep warm. They do so by hiding in shrubs and bushes or even nest boxes in order to keep warm and avoid the wind. Many waterfowl and shorebirds will either stand on one leg or sit down and tuck themselves in order to keep warm. But they also have this really amazing adaptation where they use countercurrent heat exchange, where their core body temperature is high, but they allow their extremities, like their feet, to reach the point of almost freezing. Basically, warm blood is going down into the foot, and then cold blood is being pushed back up into their body. Many of us wear down jackets in order to insulate ourselves during the winter. Birds have feathers that pretty much do the same. What they do is that they fluff up their feathers in order to trap warm air pockets in order to keep themselves well insulated. In order to do this, they have to keep their feathers dry and clean, which is often why you see them preening. Also, all birds produce a small type of oil near their tail feathers, but cold-adapted birds will use this oil in order to weatherproof their feathers to survive the winter. So some birds have evolved in order to lower their metabolic rate in order to conserve energy during the wintertime. But everyone's favorite backyard bird, the chickadee, has actually evolved to expand its hippocampus, the area where you store your memories, to expand by 30% in order to remember where their food caches are during the wintertime. Finally, just like us, most birds pack on the pounds right before winter in order to ensure their survival. Chickadees will actually pack on about 35% more of their body weight in order to survive the harsh winters. So now you may be asking yourself, what can I do to help birds survive the winter? Well, the best thing that you can do is provide a steady food supply that they can constantly be coming to throughout the winter. Now, you may be thinking, oh, if I'm providing food for them, I'm taking away their survival instincts. Or, oh no, if I don't have food out, they're all gonna die. Well, the good news is that's not going to happen, because if there's no food at your bird feeders, the thing that's gonna happen is that they're gonna leave and then they're gonna look for food elsewhere. But if you are providing a steady food supply, they just know that this is a good place to hang out and that they will be fed and that they will be okay throughout the winter. And there are actually plenty of people that will only feed birds during the summertime and people who will only feed birds during the winter time when they know that bird seed isn't readily available for them. So now if you're new to bird feeding and feel kind of intimidating going through all the big stores and looking at all the different bird seeds, I'm going to provide you some tips and tricks and advice for what you can be feeding your birds during the winter time. Or actually, it can be applied to all year round too. So starting with the easiest is black oil sunflower seeds. These will attract the most species and they have a better meat to shell ratio, making them very nutritious. Black oil sunflower seeds are also easier to crack open than striped sunflower seeds, which have a thicker shell. Thistle, sometimes known as Niger, will attract goldfinches, house finches, pine siskins, and purple finches. My only problem with thistle is that it can rot very easily if it gets wet, so you have to consider changing it if it's not getting eaten periodically. Cracked corn will attract your jays and doves, but sometimes jays will bully other birds out of the feeding station, so I don't always necessarily recommend it if you do have a blue jay problem in your neighborhood. Your standard seed mix that you'll find at just about any bird food store is a good choice, but sometimes birds might just pick through the mix in order to get straight to the sunflower seeds, leaving behind all the millet. I don't necessarily think that this is a bad choice, but I just believe that there are other choices out there that are more worth your time and money. Peanuts are really, really good to have at your feeder because they're very high in calories and have a lot of fat that the birds crave. My personal seed mix is a mix of the black oil sunflower seeds and the peanut because I notice that it brings the most amount of birds to my feeder personally. The last thing to provide at your feeding station will be suet. This will attract, honestly, almost any kind of bird because they really, really want the high fat that's within the suet, but the big thing it'll attract at your feeders will be woodpeckers. They come in plug or cake form, and they come in many different flavors such as fruit, bug, or seed. But honestly, any flavor will do because, like I said, the birds just really, really want the fat that's provided. You can also make your own at home by melting down beef tallow, peanut butter, oats, and seeds. But do not use Crisco or vegetable oil because birds cannot process that in the same way that they can process beef tallow. One other thing that you can actually provide in your backyard is also a corn feeder for your squirrels in order to try to keep them away from all your bird seed. It's usually not that successful, but I still like to provide them a little bit of something. So the last thing that you can get for your backyard for birds in the winter is a heated bird bath. I personally don't really go around recommending them, not because there's anything wrong with them, it's just because I know that they can be pretty expensive, and you also have to have a consistent clean water supply provided throughout the winter. I personally don't have one for those reasons, also because my hose spigot is currently broken back here. Well, I hope you guys learned something new today, and I hope you have the opportunity to get out this weekend. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and check out some of my other videos if you haven't already. So thanks, have a great one. Special guest in this video is my boy Toast, who is an avid bird watcher, or maybe a hunter, but he really likes watching the birds.